Hello folks, welcome back to our garden. It's May 18th. We just got a little bit of rain last night. We're going to try and get in here and get the rest of our garden tilled up. Work on getting some more of these plants in the ground. We've got our peppers and a couple of cantaloupe sitting here in little potters. They've been weathered off or hardened, so that's good, but it seems like they just do so much better when they're in the actual ground versus in these little potters. So the idea here, we're out of frost danger. We're going to try and get these in the ground and get them to take off like we've got with these tomatoes. Here's kind of our tomatoes we planted last weekend. As you can see by the different stakes and lath we've got laid out, try and identify our rows ahead of time so that we'll have enough space. A couple of the items here will get a little bit narrower as we get to the other side of the garden, closer to the rhubarb, but that's just because our plants get a little bit smaller. They don't need as much space as, say, the tomatoes do. So you can just kind of see here they're doing really well. A lot of these maybe only had a couple of sprigs of leaves on them. They've just seemed to just really take into the ground and are doing quite well. We've got one little guy over here. Doesn't seem like he's doing quite as well, but that's about the size that a lot of these started last weekend. So just in the course of about 5 or 6 days, you can see how they've gotten to a little bit bigger plant here. Kind of scary how fast these things can start growing. Then over here we've got our squash row with our little lattice wall for them. You can see those they're a little bit different too. They seem to be putting down roots more than anything at this point, so we haven't seen a whole lot of like the leaf stuff show up, but they're definitely working hard on that. So we'll just have you guys follow along as we go through this. Show you the little bit of work. Unfortunately our tiller is down and I'm going to need a little bit more repairs, but we're trying to get some of these plants in the ground, so we'll just be doing it by hand today. I've just got a couple of the basic garden tools, rake, shovel, hoe, just enough to turn the ground, kind of break it up a little bit. And then for planting, we've just got a small hand spade and a little kneeling pad there just because of the mud. I'm expecting things to be a little bit wet today. We had a good shot of rain last night. Probably slow our progress a little bit just because of the clay soils we have. But we'll show you how we kind of do things here and hopefully get the rest of this section well set up.
Okay, we're doing one last walkthrough of our garden kind of at the beginning of spring here. So you saw our pea plants here and those came up on their own. And then over here we have our squash and it's butternut over here that you saw. Now we're getting into the spaghetti squash, so we should have about 10 of each. And then you see our craziness of tomatoes. We got cages put up here. And we have 4 different types of tomatoes, 6 of each. So we have a big, a medium, a cherry tomato, and then the yellow pear tomatoes. And then there are more tomato cages over here, but those are actually bell peppers. I think they're all bell peppers this year, and we put those up because then when the wind picks up they don't fall over. I moved some of the lettuce over along here, and that's where our cabbage is planted, and that's where we transplant our rhubarb over there. And here's our main rhubarb one, which we picked down way small over the weekend, and it's already big. As you can see here, I'm still planting, just planting a couple rows of beans, and then we have broccoli on the side and kale, and there's still some onions and some lettuce and horseradish, and then where all that dirt is kind of turned over, we'll have cucumbers. So I'll post another update later in the year when we start getting stuff and show you what we harvest and what we're making with it. And this does not include our herb garden, which is up by the house. I'll try and spin so you don't get dizzy here. But all around the house, kind of by that lattice there, we have a bunch of mint and dill over by the fence. And then in front of the house, we have chamomile and cilantro and dill. And we're going to try and plant some basil this year too, and lemongrass. So thanks for joining us, and be sure to tune in next time.